Welcome back to the All Out Club podcast. I hope everyone had a great Merry Christmas and Boxing Day. We had a fantastic Boxing Day, Mick, because the Boxing Day test has started. We've got it on here. And what an introduction for one Sammy Constas. You well, mate?
I'm great. It was a good Christmas. Even better Boxing Day. Maybe the most exciting Boxing Day from recent memory.
I think so as well. What was it? 80,000 at the G.
So much happened.
So much happened. The world was introduced to a young kid, 19-year-old Sam Constas, and if you don't know his name now, you're under a rock.
Well, I think he went from about 7K followers to 100K.
Well, that's saying something, isn't it?
Say less.
That is saying something. We do have the test on right here next to us. The score on day 2 at the G, 6 for 365. Smith's currently 92 not out.
Nervous 90s.
Cummins is 34 not out. Really digging in here. Like I think in recent times, our tail has failed to Verinda tail wag. So it's good to see Cummins actually getting some runs here. And as I say that, he's been almost trapped on the pads there, LBW. But mate, your thoughts there yesterday, Boxing Day, it was quite the occasion.
Yeah, it was. Like with Constas, I feel like 90% of Australians were like, this is the most incredible thing we've ever seen. And then another 10% who are, cricket loyalists were like, what is happening to our great game?
I think there was a lot of people that were test purists that were scared of what Constas was doing out there.
Except the change. Brain rot cricket, we like to call it.
It was brain rot. And whatever sort of stuff that Constas's generation of teenagers are now watching on Instagram Reels, the brain rot skibbities, the Subway Surfers with the videos attached to it, the Minecraft parkour, the GTA videos.
It just looked like he wanted to get his 100 as quick as possible, go into the change rooms, have a quick swipe on
Have a quick scroll. He was having a quick scroll. He needed something. He needed Family Guy or Subway Surfers on the big screen. It was that type. It was absolute brain rot from Sam Constas.
We love it though.
It was unbelievable. And George Bailey did come out and say that he wanted something different, and Constas did supply that. And did I think that he was going to come out and start ramping him in the second over?
He was going to ramp 3 times in the first 3 overs, then you were capping.
You're capping. Absolutely capping.
I think there was a start. That was the earliest a reverse lap shot has been played ever.
Oh, it would have to be. It would have to be. Like there is no other kid that's come out and done that on the biggest stage of them all in world cricket and done that.
We had some cousins over watching the cricket. One's from Canada. I was sort of trying to explain like why it's so incredible. And it's sort of hard to explain. Like, yeah, he's 19, but biggest day of cricket. No one plays like this. It's just hard to explain why it's so incredible. Someone who doesn't really watch cricket.
It was bizarre, and he had the whole of India rattled. Constas.
Oh well,
the whole Indian team was just
we got
completely
VIRAT
rattled.
Shoulder checking him.
VIRAT, and I will say there was a lot of deviation on that run. And if he was playing in the NRL, there was no shoulder wrap. There was no constant. There was head high mitigation. There was no mitigation for lower force. He's getting at least 6 weeks in the NRL there.
Yeah, no.
And to say that he did rattle him is an understatement, because it's like this, right? You're in school, you're a grade 5 kid, you're not chirping a year 12er. Sam Constas is a grade 5 kid that chirped the biggest and baddest year 12er, and he did it by picking on Virat Kohli. That's the way you can describe it. That's the perfect way.
Just watching this ball, Smudge is going to bring this up. He's found his hands. Let's just say that.
Smudge has found his hands. He's found his hands. I agree.
Kohli, can we just talk about his suspension? Well, his non-suspension. 25% of his match fee.
I think it was 20%. Crash actually wrote a really good article this morning, and how basically saying that it was bullshit.
All right, if pretend it was Jaswal's first game and Travis Head deviates from his path, shoulder check. I don't think Head plays for the next year.
No. And to do it on Boxing Day, all the eyes are on you, and you go and bash up a little 19-year-old kid who's completely rattled you in the first session of a test match.
You know it's bullshit when you see Indian fans in the comment section still saying Kohli best bat, but he's in the wrong there.
Yeah, I did see a post where someone went to Sam Constas' Instagram and laid out every little bit of stat that Virat Kohli's done in the last 10 years. Speaking of Constas, though, he had some lovely set up when he bats. He's got the bat behind his
Beautiful
arm.
technique. Very
He's
simple.
got his lip up like this, ready to go. And he's saying, watch the ball. And that's what you got to do, kids. You got to watch the ball and watch it fast.
He's obviously confident as hell.
That's
I've never
a lovely
seen
shot from Cummins for one.
I've never seen a debutant try and rev up the crowd. Especially when you're 19, for respect.
He also might have the best 50 celebration I've seen in a while. Like, normally batters are pretty nonchalant, right?
Yeah,
when you're going
couple
for a
of bat
50, you mean
raises.
bat raise. He's going we've got these ones and he's doing these ones with the bat. I love it.
His
It's so
50
good.
was... It reminded me of 100. That's how hyped everyone was.
It was hype. It was an amazing piece of display from Constance. As we see Kohli here revving up the Indians. Apparently he spoke for 6 minutes this morning in front of the Indian
Yeah,
team.
well, he's lucky to be playing. Let's just say that.
Mate.
In terms of the rest of the team,
Yeah, I was going to say.
Australia were quite good. I think we're on track for 400 plus easily, which we very well should get. But Bison, time to go.
Look, there's a lot of concern for the Bison, isn't there? I think there's a chance that he might not play Sydney Test. He's got one score over 10 this series.
Oh, he's going to have to take 5 wickets to keep his spot.
He hasn't bowled though, mate. He's got to bowl. He's bowled 2 overs when Hazelwood went down. There's obviously some concern with his fitness because you just don't bowl 2 overs as an all-rounder when one of your premium fast bowlers goes down. So there's an issue there. Who do you bring in? Do you bring in Webster?
His name's Bo.
Do you bring in the Bow?
Big Bo. I think he bowls handy offies. He bowls handy medium paces. And I think with the bat, I probably trust him more than Bison at the moment.
You know what you love? You love variety, and he provides variety. And Bo,
He reeks of a culture guy as well.
He does
Not
reek of a
saying
culture
Bison's
guy.
probably one of the great culture guys, judging off how many tests he's played and his averages. But yeah,
look, again, and I think you said it a few weeks ago, Australian cricket owes the Bison nothing.
no.
So if there's a way that we can get Bison out because of performance, it's only right because McSweeney is averaging more and he got dropped.
Yeah.
You know, so there's got to be some sort of consistency here. Otherwise, the boys' club, as what they say on the papers,
Wouldn't surprise me if McSweeney comes back into the team and he just goes, fuck this, and just ramps.
I wouldn't be surprised. Bring his big bash form into the test team.
It obviously works.
Yeah.
But with George Bailey, who knows what he does, seriously.
Travis Head, an unfortunate 0 on the weekend. Probably not what we're used to from Big Travis. I mean,
I agree, but it's also like, I feel like he's very rocks and diamonds still. It's either a duck or it's a big 100.
yeah, you're right.
He's definitely gotten a few ducks in his career.
Yeah, Marnus, good to see him back in form. He probably let his wicket go easier than he should have. I mean, the first ball from a drink goes and charging.
He looked nervy
Washington.
early on, but
I'd almost blame Isha Gill for that one because as Smith struck on the pads there.
can I just say, with Indians appealing, seriously,
I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to say it with true conviction because I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I would love to see some stats on review percentage and what their success rate would be. I reckon India would have the worst percentage by a country mile.
Rohit Sharma would be
By
way
a country
down the bottom.
mile. They would have to. Their percentage of, like, even just going through this series, I reckon they at least got 5 wrong in reviews.
Yeah, and it's not like it's been close ones. It's been like a massive inside edge, or it's Constance charging down the wicket. It's clearly going over. You know what? Shane Watson will go up. Isn't that incredible?
Well, let's think of a few of the worst people, like the people that you wouldn't trust when they're appealing, because Mohammad Siraj would definitely be one.
Well, he doesn't even look like the umpire.
If he appeals, there is no way you're going up because it's just not out. Marnus Labuschagne, number 2. There's another one.
Yeah, he's awful.
If he's appealing, there's no way you're going up.
Siraj looks like he's running to third man when he's appealing. He's just gone. He doesn't even turn back.
I can't think of many others off the top of my head if they're appealing. There's a lot of Indians that come to mind, like Ishant Sharma. I think he was another one when it first introduced. There was one there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of... I always think about like the worst referrals.
Shane Watson, actually. Sorry, Shane Watson. There's another one.
Top of the list.
Yeah.
I always come back to Headingley.
No,
Why have we gone up there? And then we get in Plummer with W. That's
that's Joe Wilson's fault.
Oh, that's haunted me.
That's Joe Wilson's fault, that one. That was disgusting, I agree.
If Smith gets 100 here, is it confirmation he's back?
Yeah.
Or do we just think...
He loves the
Do we just
MCG.
think it's a bit of a road? He averages 80 here.
He loves the MCG, doesn't he?
Bro averages 80.
Well, he's on 95 at the moment. He's... I wouldn't say he's carried the bat because we've all done pretty well, but he's the one that's pushed on to get a big score. Cummins is staying around and helping him out, which is also great.
I'd say for a good stint there, MCG was
A road.
an absolute road. But I think they've sort of fixed that up last few years.
Yeah.
Got a bit of green on it.
Remember when Alistair Cook came in 2017, he got like 190
He's
or something like
sort
that,
of out
wasn't
of
he?
form and he's got like a 250.
Yeah. So there is a slight concern that might be a road, but you got to wait till India bats on it today, you would think,
Yeah.
to judge the wicket.
I feel like there's so much to talk about. Like with the test match, BBL still pumping along as well.
BBL has been great this year, and I know it has its critics, but we've had the perfect mix between good cricket and comedy, and
That's
there's
what I
been a
was
lot
about
of
to say.
comedy.
It's either you're watching Duckett hit 6 fours or you're watching some absolutely terrible fielding. And it's just like, it is what it is. It's
Or
either you gotta
comedic,
see-
like top ball running into one of the players and just like he
Yeah.
fell down.
You
It's
can't
hilarious.
expect it to be like the IPL where it's just every single player is an absolute elite
Freak.
of the elite.
Yeah.
Appreciate what it is. It's rocks and diamonds. But
It
it's,
is rocks
when it's rocks, it's funny.
It is funny. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, our Heat had a bit of a loss last night. Oh, that's close. Maybe going down the leg.
The Heat are going to go close again.
They got a pretty stacked side. They had a pretty stacked side.
Test players will come back, but like I'm thinking about Marnus, and I'm like, do we want him in? Like,
Where
he'll
does
do
he
a
fit in?
role,
Where
but
does he fit in?
McSweeney's doing that role perfectly.
I got a good hypothetical here. Well, it's tea here or drinks.
Mm-hmm.
How many Test teams do you reckon the Brisbane Heat would beat?
It's a great hypothetical.
Because our lineup is pretty
Yeah, you're
stacked.
talking about like Usman, Marnus,
Yeah, full strength. So I'm probably thinking.
Nice.
I'm thinking Usman, Munro, Marnus, Renshaw, Buddha, and then our bowlers are Kuhneman, Swepson, Bartlett,
Like
Spencer,
we beat
Nessa.
Bangladesh, Zimbabwe easily.
You reckon? I reckon we
Yeah.
could beat Pakistan.
West Indies, I would say, I think we beat them, but also they sort of beat us last summer.
It's very true.
No, I think we beat West Indies.
I'd say we beat
have-
West Indies at a 2-1 series.
I think we do. Like that bowling attack of Spencer Johnson, Nice.
Bartlett, Kuhneman,
Bartlett.
Swepson,
Yeah, that's that's a great bowl.
Usman, Marnus,
Wasn't
Buddha,
Marnus, McSweeney,
Renshaw,
Renners.
Munro, Pearson.
Like
can
Renners
keep.
would be in the West
Pearson's a
Indian.
good red ball cricketer.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like someone like Renshaw would be in the West Indian Test team.
So who are we leaving out? BMB, Paul Walter.
Full respect to Maxi Bryant. I think he does a role, but I just don't think he makes that team.
Paul
when
Walter.
everyone's back.
Who else do it? Like, there's probably a few white ball cricketers.
One
in
thing
there.
with the Heat, I do worry we have too many 30 off 25 rocks guys. Is that like, it's not necessarily a bad problem, but is
It's
that,
not a
is
bad
that not
problem.
a true point?
No, it is probably a true point.
Like Colin Munro isn't that type of guy, but he's in horrible form.
Yeah, he's probably the one that hasn't scored the runs yet that we were hoping to score runs. But he'll find it.
arrive.
He's a class player. He averages 35 in T20 cricket. He'll be right.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, Smithy's on 96 here, and while we're still waiting, a bit of a recap of 2024, mate. It's actually been a fantastic year for sport.
It has.
Like, it's been a very good year, and I feel like when we look back on 2024, we're going to be like, shit, a lot of things happened in 2024 where we're just like, that is a great year.
Yeah, that's true. There's been a lot of like unforgettable moments. Well, the Olympics is like
The Olympics
every
was
time there's
unreal.
Olympics rolls around, it's like it's at the highest stage of sport.
And just like, look, the NRL this year, I wouldn't say it was one of our greatest years in the NRL. And being a fantasy podcast and
Yeah.
watching the
I don't want to be
NRL,
biased, but it wasn't great,
it wasn't a great year.
especially for a Red V fan.
But I've got here the top 10 most unforgettable sporting moments of 2024.
Right, hit me.
And we're going to go 10 to 1. We got 10 here. So we'll go through them. You
could be
can
very
inject.
contentious.
You can inject when you want, and maybe I'll give some honourable mentions, but we'll go by.
Okay.
Number 10, Joseph Suali'i knocking out Reece Walsh in Origin. Number 10.
Yeah, that's valid. I almost forgot about it, but in terms of Origin, that's the moment.
Number 9, Sammy Constas' debut. I mean, it just happened. It's probably... I think it's a bit harsh to be number 9, but there's some good moments on here, and I'm happy to move it
people
around.
People say recency bias, but we'll be talking about it in at least 4 years.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, number 8, as a Wallabies fan, probably the best Wallabies moment in the last 5 years, I'd say, is Max.
It's not saying much.
Is Max Jorgensen's winning try against England. It was just the perfect time to say, "Hey, the Wallabies are back, and we mean business in 2025."
That's a tentative back. I'd like to see more.
Yeah. Going back to the cricket, though, and it was at the Gabba against the West Indies, Shamar Joseph's performance when he skittled the Australians at the Gabba. He ran around like a headless chicken. He was, and he was just,
one of the great upsets in Test cricket.
It was unbelievable, wasn't it? It was so good. Number 6, more contentious one, was when Scotty Scheffler got arrested before the US Open. He had a mugshot and all. I'm sure we'll get that up in the clip.
What that happened?
He got arrested.
That's such a random moment. What did he do again? He just
like ran. I think they were like checking.
He ran a red.
No, they were like checking IDs or something rather, or something
one
happened
of the police
in the local
officers
area.
obviously had a bet on, and Scheffler's just
clearly.
fucked it.
But imagine the officer that's just arrested him, and you're just like, "Sorry, mate, you're just the world number 1 golfer. You're worth bloody $100 million."
Yeah.
ID. Anyway, moving on. Number 5, and probably a moment which most would forget, but was completely it was just an unforgettable moment, was when Xavier Coates scored that winning try against the Wars. 10 seconds left, final play. He was out, and he still put it in.
Maybe the best finish to an NRL game I've ever seen.
It could be the best try finish I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, it was unbelievable.
That's valid.
Number 4, also very recent, was when Gat got 10.05 in his 100 meter, plus 3.4 wind, but another incredible moment.
I thought Gout just in general would have been number 1 there.
Yeah, probably. 10.05, and he's probably the next best athlete.
I think he's going to have a few top moments in the coming years.
He could be the next best Australian athlete.
Yeah.
And he could medal in the next
He could be the
Olympic
most
Games.
famous Australian athlete ever.
Yeah.
Is that
Well,
a
he
hot
could
take?
be. He could be,
I think
because
he could.
Usain Bolt,
if you win the 100 meter, you're worldwide famous.
Oh, absolutely.
You're the guy.
Yeah. Like the amount of
Just put that to
incentives.
us.
The amount of incentives that he would get. Unbelievable. Number 3, staying with the Olympics, was just in general Australia's best ever Olympics ever. I think we got a record amount of gold medals. I mean, the Fox sisters, incredible. So much swimming achievements. I mean, that's when we do our best work. If we're not winning medals in the pool, I think we're fucked for the Olympics. But the swimmers, whatever they're called, I think they're called the Dolphins or...
it's hard to say.
The swim team.
They swim well, though.
They do swim, and they swim well. We were up at 3 a.m. watching the swimmers. You got it.
Yeah, we took note of those friends who weren't there.
We did. Number 2 was... Well, it's sort of combined, but it was the Vegas start to the NRL season and then the Panthers winning 4 in a row, because there's not many times where you can say a national code is then taken to Vegas in America.
It's a great moment.
And trying to break into the American market. It was risky. I don't think it did as well as I thought, but, it's a 3-year plan. So
Yeah. I'm just watching Smudge's move to 99.
Smudge has moved to 99.
I don't want to do... Who was it? Was it Mark Nicholas who jinxed Warner on 99?
It was.
I don't want to do that.
We don't want to do this.
I think he's secured the 100. He's found his hands. So
This would be an incredible clip if he gets out here.
He's going to knock it towards cover. Cheeky single.
Final ball of the over.
34th 100. And we might be talking about Smith as the GOAT.
Well, we're talking best since Bradman. It could be Constas soon.
Because I was just assuming he was going to be a steady decline. Now that's 200s in 3 innings.
If Smith gets out this ball, this would be an incredible clip. Here he goes. Smith on 99. Facing ready. He's got it!
Don't cover! 3,400s. This guy's the GOAT.
Well, that's what? That's second most hundreds out right now. That's a stunning celebration as well.
Look at that. He's found his hands. We've said it before.
Hands have been found. You know what? Smith has ate now 34 chocolate bars when he gets 100. That's a lot of chocolate.
Conversion rate. Once he gets 50, he's pretty good at converting.
That's an incredible amount of chocolate.
Can I just say, they're the best celebrations. Just helmet one hand, bat the other. I don't really like Travis Head's. Bit goofy.
Just the on the camera.
That's at least my opinion.
That's a great 100. I wouldn't say that's in his top 500s, but it's still a great 100 in the moment of the series. You're stepping up there.
Look at him. He's him.
Good on him.
That's revitalised his career. He's playing for another 4 years.
Anyway, I think this is a great moment to move to our number one moment.
Yes,
unforgettable moment for
Forgot we were doing that
2024. For 2024, number one unforgettable sporting moment. And I will say some honourable mentions actually before.
Is this like an unforgettable moment? Like, is
That's
this
unforgettable. No, this is just an unforgettable. It might not be the best, but it's just unforgettable.
I got one in mind, and I wouldn't say it's the best.
No, it's not. And you might be right with what I'm about to say here because it's not, again, unforgettable, not best. Few honourable mentions though. Luke Littler, the rise of Luke Littler. We're not massive darts people, but that was pretty cool.
He's not 16. That's
Bryson DeChambeau getting up and down after that bunker in the US Open. A very niche one, but it was a very good moment. And
That's pretty niche.
The final honourable mention was Knight's Choice in the Melbourne Cup. $101. Robbie Dolan. He can sing a song, that man, and he can ride a horse.
Yeah. Good
I will say,
mentions.
though, Robbie Dolan, absolute nobody, wins the Melbourne Cup. Suddenly he is the biggest icon in racing. It's quite remarkable. It's a remarkable story.
Reminds me of forgotten her name, 2015.
Michelle Payne. Michelle Payne.
It's a huge moment. Movies have been mad about her.
Maybe there could be a singing one from Voice Reject to the Melbourne Cup champion. Anyway, the number one most unforgettable sporting moment in 2024, the piece of resistance. It's back at the Olympics. It's of course the person who was suing for a stage play. It's Ray Gunn. It has to be. Unforgettable moment
Ray Gunn.
of 2024.
This is probably... You probably deserved this, to be honest. Like, if this was a top 10 best moments, fuck no.
No, absolutely not.
But you were definitely unforgettable.
You were unforgettable, Ray Gunn. And to say that you were suing for a play that was going for charity really says something. I feel like Australia was back on Ray Gunn. We were back on her a little bit.
I think it was very contentious. I think a lot of people backed her for having to go. And then the rest of the people who actually knew what was happening, where she basically paid her way to get into the Olympics, knowing the judges, hated her.
Yeah, and now everyone hates her. Now
I
everybody
actually
hates her.
respect it.
Everyone hates her again. So, Ray Gunn, you won't be forgotten anytime soon, and that's why you're number one. So, congratulations. That's the top 10. I think that's a pretty good top 10. If I've missed anything, let me know.
Yeah,
I
like
think that's
I'm
a good
trying
top
to
10.
rattle things off the top of my head. I think maybe the order could have been different, but they're the moments.
I think they're the moments. And there are probably a few niche ones like Jerome Malloy getting stuck in a surfing simulator. Remember that one?
Come again?
That's a niche clip. There's
Very niche.
you know those Wet and Wild like surf.
You got stuck in one.
You got stuck in one of them. Like there's a few others here that I've probably missed, like Joseph Sawali playing for the Wallabies. That was pretty unforgettable. He was very good. But you know, you live.
Yeah, not much cricket stuff.
It was a pretty good year for cricket.
Paddy Cummins, 46 against India at the MCG. It's a very good knock.
Travis Head's 100 in Adelaide. That was a very good knock actually as well. But yeah, hopefully we can get up. What's your predictions for the rest of this game, Matt? Are we gonna bowl them out today?
It's tough to say. I don't know what the weather forecast is like, but I think we get another 50 runs here. Jaswal gets out within the first 2 overs. And we rattle on for 290.
Yeah.
And then we win.
I think we haven't seen the best of Jaswal at all this series.
No, we saw a glimpse.
We saw a
And
glimpse.
in terms of that glimpse, it was a brilliant 100, but... Siraj is bowling awfully, can I just say?
Can I also just say he's currently none for 95 off a sound 19 overs. Siraj might be the worst fielder I've ever seen in my life. Like his fielding is disgraceful.
The worst fielding was Pakistan when they were here in like 2018. It was deplorable.
They were using their feet.
They actually were going all right, but they just kept dropping balls.
Siraj is fielding like the BBL fielding in in BBL 10. It was disgraceful.
Yeah. I was thinking the other day that like Australian fast bowlers, like historically and currently, actually great fielders.
Yeah.
Stark, good
Cummins,
fielder. Cummins, great
fielder.
fielder. Hazelwood, handy.
I haven't seen Hazelwood drop a catch in him quite a while.
No, Pidge was very good. All very, very handy.
Oh, no, I just can't believe.
Not sure
Siraj.
what Dennis Lilly was like out in the field. He's probably having a durry, but
Siraj yesterday slid for a ball, and instead of picking it up with his hands, has decided to like slide it with his feet. And I was like, nah, mate, you can't do that. But that one,
segue. How about Mackenzie Harvey's
brilliant catch, wasn't it?
great catch?
Yeah.
He's an athlete.
There's been some really good big dash moments at the moment. Like you're right, Duckett 6-4s in and over. He's entertaining.
Catch was also great.
Duckett catch, Mackenzie Harvey catch, Heat final ball thriller.
Sweppo getting a full bugger. Absolute Hail Mary. It's been cut to point. for the win. I respect how Sweppo's gone in there because, what was it? It would have been...
I think it was like
Wits.
5-off-5 or 5-off-4.
Yeah, it's just a bit of experience at the crease.
Yeah. I mean, Buddha, I don't think we've talked about Buddha on the podcast since he's been dropped, but he got dropped and then came back and made what was a stunning 78 for the Heat.
Yeah. Buddha will be back in the test team.
Yeah, he'll be back. I mean, Uzi's 38 now. Bison looks like he potentially could be dropped, so there's potential.
Yeah.
I love a debutant for the Australian team. It gets me excited. A debutant.
Well, Crash said it. It's like they're the best summers when there's a bit of uncertainty about the team. So there's a bit of hype. There's talk about it before the series actually starts.
Yeah. No, I agree. Well, mate, we might leave it there unless you want to watch Cummins get a 50, but it's...
Yeah, watch a couple more balls.
We'll watch a couple more.
I'm just trying to think of like what Indians I feel like are going to step up and get 100 here.
Oh, he'll get 2 here. Will he? Might get more than 2. Oh, well, Kohli's got to come out and make runs, doesn't he?
Yeah, no.
He's got to earn more than his paycheck. And I'm sure this 20% won't hurt him financially, but...
Here's a good point. What players historically, because the IPL's only been around for 15 years, something like that. What players in cricket history would go for the most money? And I was thinking, I think number one...
Are we talking in primes?
Yeah, in primes. I think, like there's obviously you could talk about the Chris Gales and stuff like that. I think Andrew Simons is the perfect T20 player. He would have played a few, bowled off spin, bowled handy meds, gun fielder, smacked a bomb.
Yep. Most money.
Roy?
Well, historically, you got to think about who goes for the most money nowadays. It's probably the bowlers. So Pat Cummins went for 4 mil. Rishabh Pant, he's a specialist. So they're really after specialists more these days than maybe the all-rounders.
Yeah, that's true. Like I'm sure Shoaib Akhtar would go for a bit, but to people with variations, you know.
Good point.
Binger?
Yeah, it's a really good question.
Matty Hayden
would
have to
in
be
his
up
prime.
there. He hit bombs. Gilly.
Gilly.
I think Gilly would go for an absolute
Gilchrist,
check. He'd
yeah.
play open. Good keep.
And then there's your keeper. I mean, he kept a Shane Warne. Like if you're keeping a Shane Warne in his prime, you can keep in India with the spinning decks.
Chris Lynn for that one
Chris
half
Lynn in
a season.
BBL 6.
One of the best batting I've ever seen in my life.
That's actually a really good question, and I'm not sure.
I
I'm
think
sure
Andrew Simons, just because he can literally do everything.
Andrew Simons, AB de Villiers rings to mind. I think there's another good AB de Villiers.
AB would probably be.
Pat Cummins in his prime probably could go for a fair bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like players in the 80s, 90s, but it's sort of hard to gauge because they didn't really have to hit sixes. Like I'm sure Viv
Just
Richards.
like a Viv Richards, yeah, or like a...
Like I'm sure Don Brabham.
Could you imagine Alan Border playing T20 cricket? Like, that's just hilarious.
Don Brabham would average 99 in IPL.
It's a good question. One for the listeners, I reckon, that one. It's a really good question.
I'll pose it to you.
Yeah. Cummins currently on 48 not out. And if you're still with us, well done, because this is getting dribbly. But 48... We've actually got
we've got like one listener. It's just us when we're editing.
Yeah. There's actually if you're from All Out NRL Fantasy coming into All Out Club, there'll be a lot of good NRL Fantasy content this year. Actually,
Yeah, big year
for us. Pushing 30K on the Instagram. I'm sure everyone knows that. So if you've unfollowed, make sure to follow back again.
Yeah, they'll be back. We know who you are.
We know who you are.
And
we
you've
name
been blocked.
we name the names.
You've
yeah.
been blocked.
But yeah, big year for us, and I'm sure NRL Fantasy will only just get even bigger. And then there's a few special guests coming on in the new year as well. So if you're an All Out Club fan, look out for that one.
Hopefully a few, like if you're asking fantasy questions now, just ease up a bit.
Respectfully, it's not open yet. What could we possibly answer? What could we possibly answer?
Buy Nathan Cleary.
Yeah.
Say less.
Buy Nathan Cleary. I wonder though, and this is now getting NRL fantasy talk while we wait for Cummins to get
Segue.
50. But I wonder last year, if you remember, both Nico Hines and Nathan Cleary were $1 million, and that really put a big dent into our NRL fantasy salary caps. Would you go for maybe one or the other this year, or would you maybe not start with the Nathan Cleary? Way too early question this, but
I think it's almost you do this year because I think Nico might be at a bit of a discount.
Could be a discount.
And I think Cleary would be a decent discount as well.
Well,
So I think you're buying low.
maybe you're a Ben Hunt operator at the Broncos. Who knows?
Yeah, that's not a bad shout.
I will say though, NRL fantasy, you need a good 5 months of detox before you can really get back into it.
Yeah.
Like
it's almost giving me anxiety talking about it.
like the numbers just ticking over.
NBA
I
fantasy's
can see the
enough.
numbers ticking over. I just feel like, nah, I needed a detox.
What's Stingo's break even? Fuck.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? If Robbie Toyer gets picked for the Roosters, get him in.
Yeah, bye. Bye.
He's
Almost
captained him.
We captained him in school. We did.
We were literally like, he's a buy.
He's such a buy. Cummins on 49 now. Australia also bring up the 400. I'd say, Mick, that probably... I'd say that if we can get anything above 450, which probably we're going to be looking like we're doing, we can really set up this game.
We'll be laughing.
Weather's pretty good in Melbourne, so hopefully we get the full 5 days. Shot! Well, if we're going to be playing shots like that, we're going to get more than 450 because that's a brilliant
just
shot.
looked at his hands and he just nodded.
It was. He looked at him and he said, "Yes, that's me.
back."
I'm back."
Oh, that's great to see.
Siraj. If there's one Indian bowler to get smacked around, I'd love it to be Siraj, and it's happening.
That's just dross bowling. With all due respect to Siraj, I think Shami has to come in. I don't even know if Shami's on the radar.
No, he's going for the series. He's done.
Is he?
Yeah, he's done.
I thought he came back.
No, he's done.
Now, who's their other paceman?
Well, they got Akash Deep, who's arguably been up there with Bumrah, but just very unlucky.
Yeah, I just feel like Deep, maybe underutilized.
Shot
that is
again.
A shot smudge. He's so
he's
nodding.
He's looking at his hands and he's saying, "Yes,
Yep.
I'm back." That's a great shot.
Push that average up above 60 again, Smudge. Impossible task, but how many test hundreds does Smudge end up on? It's impossible to say.
Well,
I'm going to say
I reckon
39.
he plays next year.
Mm-hmm.
He'll play who do we play before we play England?
After.
Who do we play? We go to Sri Lanka.
I think he gets 2 against Sri Lanka.
I think he goes well against Sri
He
Lanka.
finishes on 39.
He loves playing England, doesn't he? So if he could break Ponting's record,
Yeah. I think he deserves to. Ricky Ponting averaged 60 after 100 games, 100 tests. But what was Smudge averaging, you know? I think Smudge is a better batter than Ricky Ponting. And I don't think he'll decline. He's obviously declined, but it hasn't been as drastic as Ponting.
And to think he had,
A year off in his prime.
A year off in his prime.
Maybe not facing... like Ricky Ponting faced some good bowling attacks, but, you know.
Australia had the best bowling attack in the game.
Yeah.
And probably, you know what, we probably have the best bowling attack right now as well.
Yeah. It's a luxury, but...
All right, Cummins, 49. This has been a very good innings from him because we know how quickly the tail can actually depart if you're an Australian fan.
I saw a tweet yesterday about Constas and like the ramping and stuff. What's the reaction?
Oh, he
Cummins.
goes for it. Has he been caught?
Bruh.
Oh, I think he's been caught.
Bruh. Well, thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.